NKTelco Sports welcomes you to Ohio Northern University, where the Mount Union Purple Raiders take on the ONU Polar Bears.
This game brought to you by Minster Bank, Keyhole Pizza, 21st Century Kitchens, Elmwood Assisted Living, Schwederman Pharmacy, New Knoxville Supply, Minster Dental Care, NKTelco, Francis Furniture, St. Mary's Trucking, Cy Schwederman, West Staff, Radio Hospital, First National Bank, Bud's Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram.
This is an NKTelco Sports production.
Good afternoon and welcome to Ohio Northern University for today's OAC football game between the Mount Union Purple Raiders and the Ohio Northern University Polar Bears. I'm Jeff Henshin. Alongside me this afternoon is Ron Cruzy, and Polar Bears home finally after a 5-game road trip dating back to last season. Ron, they open up today's first home game with a very difficult task at hand.
Right. The Mount Union Purple Raiders come in the game with a 3-0 record, 2-0 in the OAC. OAC-wise, they beat Marietta 56-0. They beat Baldwin Wallace 49-7, whereas Ohio Northern comes in OAC-wise, they're 1-1. They beat Otterbein last week 16-10, and previously to that, they lost to Heidelberg 45-14. And a couple players we need to watch today for Ohio Northern: Kristen Williams. He's a 5'11", 210-pound freshman from Anna, and he averages 135 yards a game, 6 yards a carry. And on the Mount Union side, the guy carrying the ball most of the time will be Bradley Mitchell. He's a 5'6", 175-pound senior from Detroit, Michigan, and he averages 175 yards a game, 9.1 yard average.
Mount Union, the number one ranked team in the nation. Again, a very strong team year in, year out. They're the defending champions in Division III, so the Polar Bears are going to have their hands full, as Ron mentioned, some key players to watch out. They're loaded. The all-time series record is in favor of Mount Union. They own a 41-14-1 mark against the Polar Bears. The last Ohio Northern victory came back in 2005, a 21-14 victory up at Alliance. The last home win, have to go back to 1978, the last time the Polar Bears got a win at home versus Mount Union. Well, before we get into the kickoff, we're a few minutes away. We'll give us a time to go through our keys to the game this afternoon. They are brought to us by Bud's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Salina, where the dealer makes the difference.
For the Mount Union Purple Raiders, the number one key is ground and pound. They average 367 yards a game rushing. That's 6.6 yards per carry. Number two, they need to defend the balanced attack of Ohio Northern. Ohio Northern runs 50% of the time and passes 50% of the time, so they're going to try to keep Mount Union off balance that way. For Ohio Northern Polar Bears, the number one key is the running game. Mount Union gives up only 35 yards a game rushing, and we already mentioned Kristen Williams must have a big game today for the Polar Bears. Number two, they need to slow down Bradley Mitchell. As we mentioned before, he averages 175 yards a game, so that's going to be a tough task for the Polar Bears.
There are keys to the game brought to you by Bud's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Salina, where the dealer makes the difference as the teams now both teams enter the field. The Polar Bears left to right on the screen, and the Mount Union Purple Raiders going across the field to their bench here at Dial Roberson Stadium in Ada, Ohio. A quick look at our coaches in today's game. ONU head coach Dean Paul. Paul's in his 13th season at ONU with an 85-42 record, and he is 124-54 in 17 seasons overall, and has one win and 11 losses against Mount Union. Across the field in the white jerseys today, they will be coached by Vince Karras. Karras enters his 4th season at Mount Union with a 46-2 record. He's 3-0 against ONU in his short 4-year career. Karras has been a fixture, Ron, at Mount Union, a player, an assistant. I believe his dad was a head coach as well.
Right. It says in the guide here he has been part of 11 of the 12 national championships that Mount Union has won.
Either as a player or coach.
Yeah, two years as a player and 9 as the coach.
The national champions, the Mount Union Raiders, have won 12 of them, the most of any college divisional team. So the Purple Raiders, again, a strong history as they continue to dominate this year. Last year's meeting, Ohio Northern fell 51-7 up at Alliance. At that time, Mount Union was ranked number 2. Running back Justin Magazine carried the ball 14 times for 30 yards and a touchdown, and quarterback Will Freed was 21 of 38 for 171 to lead the ONU offense. And that was last year as the captains meet at midfield. And as Ron mentioned last week, Ohio Northern got off to a tremendous defensive effort and held on for a 16-10 victory at Otterbein. Scott Rapps, Ron, had a big game from Bay Village. He was on the field all day, finishing with a team-high 9 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. And the 1 fumble recovery was for a touchdown, and the last one sealed the victory with a strip and recovery late in the game to hold on the victory for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. So the officials meet at midfield. The clock set at 15 minutes. We are about ready to go, and the breeze run a little bit more significant today maybe than what we saw last night at high school football games.
Right, I'll be going across the field as you watch the game from right to left. But the sun is peeking out a little bit here and there, so all in all, a nice afternoon for college football.
Mount Union wearing the white jerseys with purple pants will kick off to the Polar Bears in all black today with orange numerals and orange letters trimmed in white. Alex Lothan will be the kicker for the Purple Raiders. He wears number 19. And the opening kick is underway here at Dial Roberson Stadium in Ada, Ohio. A hole, an opening. Nice return for the Polar Bears. From the own end zone out, Ron, about to the 31-yard line.
That was Jamison Scarborough there with a nice run back. He got a nice block initially, and a big hole opened up, and he took it out to the 33.
Excellent start for the Polar Bears, and their offense will trot out to the field, and leading in will be number 10, Will Freed at quarterback. Kristen Williams wears number 5. He is in the backfield. In motion goes Logan Ray, a quick handoff, fake down the field, open receiver, Malachi Noletti, pass and catch, excellent hookup. Will Freed hits Malachi Noletti, and the Polar Bears, 2 good performances to start the game.
Yeah, he threw a nice throw there into the wind, and Noletti wide open there, had a couple steps on the defender. That's his 9th reception of the year.
So from the 32 down to the 25 in the game's first play, Freed, another pass completion of about 10 yards.
And a nice hit there by Austin White for the Purple Raiders.
Reed Allen on the 9-yard pickup, and the Polar Bears inside the red zone on their second snap now. Second snap got them into the red zone. Now their third here from the 16. Open receiver in and out of the hands of Chad Rex. Boy, that was a possible 6-point play right there, Ron, as Rex open across the middle.
Rex is the leading receiver for the Polar Bears with 16 receptions, and just took his eye off the ball there for a second and had a drop. Polar Bears come out passing the ball, Jeff, instead of running against that great rush defense.
Third and short. We'll see once they hit Williams now to gain a new set of plays and move the chains. They will continue to run. Freed, his pass off the mark. Fourth down and about 7 inches, Ron. We'll see what Coach Dean Paul wants to do.
Right. The drop pass there
Big.
on first down was a big play for the Polar Bears. They just haven't recovered from that yet, but they're in fourth down territory, so they're going to go for it.
You got to think a quick hitter with number 5, Kristen Williams, but as you mentioned, he's going to be going into probably the best rush defense in the nation. Only need about 6 or 7 inches. A good opening drive for the Polar Bears. Williams spins, met, he's going to be stopped.
Didn't make it.
Tough turnover on downs for the Polar Bears. Boy, that would have been a huge start against a very good Mount Union team.
That was a slow developing play there, and you give the Mount Union that much extra time there to get off the blocks, and it's going to be a long day if you keep doing that.
Polar Bears turn it over on downs at their 16-yard line of Mount Union, and out comes a very good offensive team. As Ron has mentioned before, a lot of offense.
They're first in the OAC in offense, total offense and total defense.
They score a lot of points, 45, 56, and 49 in their 3 games thus far, avoiding tackle for loss, and still on his feet is Bradley Mitchell. Mitchell will get nice yards of about 16 yards. He probably ran for 30, but gets 16.
That gives you a little bit of a glimpse there of why Bradley Mitchell averages 175 yards a game.
Quickly to go back to work on offense, number 10, Luke Poorman. His pass caught, and first down yardage for number 14, Tim Kennedy. That Mount Union offensive line is centered by Mitch Doherty. His guards are Michael Azaria and also Cole Parrish. His tackles, Brooks Jenkins and also Matt Fittich. And wide receivers, Jordan Hargrove, Jared Ruth, Tim Kennedy, and we've already seen Poorman and Mitchell go to work. And again, here's another catch by Kennedy. Hit hard out of bounds, but not until he gains 9.5.
Kennedy came into the game but with 1 reception for the season, and he's already got 2 here right away here in the first quarter. He's a 5'10", 180-pound senior from Hudson.
Hitter up the middle, first down yards for Bradley Mitchell.
After a closer look, that was his 12th and 13th reception. I read that wrong.
And for Mitchell, he's getting an early workload. He's already had 58 attempts coming into this, their 4th game, so he's averaging, do my math quickly, almost 20 rushing attempts on the season. And another quick pass out to number 21, Jared Ruth. And Ryan, you got to think with some of these lopsided games that Mount Union has been in, 45-10, 56-0, 49-7. We mentioned 20 touches for Bradley Mitchell. There's probably some of those games where he doesn't get a play late in the game.
Right.
And the support players get a chance.
Right. And there's probably a lot of occasions there where they haven't had to pass the ball.
Is that a one-handed catch?
Yes. A nice grab there by Kennedy.
Well, he's been on fire here, and that was the old Odell Beckham Jr. one-handed snag on a ball thrown out, and the Mount Union Purple Raiders are moving very fluidly down the field here, right to left on your screen. And the Polar Bears did the same, but could not punch it in. Another 5-yard pickup. We look back to the Polar Bear opening drive, Ron, very crisp, and then there's the one drop pass that kind of stopped that rhythm. It's such a fine game. You're moving right along, and then a small mistake, and that can just literally knock your wind out.
Yeah, take the air right out of the balloon.
Slipping on his own was number 6, Jawanza Evans Morris. He's had a couple carries, and you may hear me refer to him as JEM, Jawanzo Evans Morris, and he has the Purple Raiders right down on the 3-yard line.
Yeah, he went down as he slipped on the cut.
Mitchell keeps it, inches his way near the goal line. He'll be stopped just short. Mitchell looking for his 7th rushing touchdown on the season. He is just inches away, and they waste no time. I don't think we need a play clock with the Purple Raiders.
No.
They hustle right up. The play clock should not be a factor for their offense. Mitchell in the backfield. They will throw. Hargrove, the intended receiver. That'll bring up now a 3rd and short.
A little bit of miscommunication there. He threw it over his left shoulder, and the receiver thought it was going to go to his right, and looked over his right, saw the ball on his left, and by the time he turned around, the ball was over his head.
Look for Mitchell here in the backfield to take the handoff. He does, and he goes in for the game's first score at 10:25. The Purple Raiders waste little time. And actually, Ron started this drive, I think, around, the 11 or 12-yard line? So it's a long drive in a couple minutes, a 1-yard plunge by Bradley Mitchell. As I mentioned, his 7th of the season, and they will line up and go for 2.
They mixed in more passes there than what we would expect to see.
And now they will reset with Tim Kennedy, the wide receiver. He will be the holder, number 14. And Alex Lothman will try the PAT as they switch back to the normal, more conventional try, and it splits the upright. So with 10:25 left here in the first quarter, it's Mount Union 7, Ohio Northern 0. We'll take a break and come back with more football here on NKTelco Sports.
As a business owner, do you find yourself reviewing too many applications, or are you the job seeker filling out dozens of applications in an attempt to find employment? West Staff has been bridging the gap between employers and employees since 1988. Jobs range from manufacturing and clerical to specialized fields such as quality control and engineering. West Staff has the ability to operate as your company's entire HR department or simply payroll employees on a temp-to-hire basis. West Staff, your partner in business.
Welcome back. Here's Ohio Northern will look to start their second possession, Ron, and if you want to play with the big boys, you got to hang with the big boys. And boy, Northern came out with that first possession, and you're thinking this is moved down the field and then stalled, and you see what Mount Union can do when they have the ball. So here it becomes a very critical possession early in this game if Ohio Northern's going to try to match score for score.
Right. Mount Union came into the game. Every time they get into the red zone, which has been 21 times, they were 17 out of 21 scoring touchdowns from inside the red zone. So now they're 18 for 22. That's
pretty efficient.
That's
getting
very
it
efficient.
done.
Yeah.
And those are touchdowns, you said, right?
Right,
so
touchdown.
They're not settling for field goals. They're scoring.
Right.
Well, Northern will start their second possession a little less field position than what they started the game with when they had a nice kickoff out to the 30. This will be right around the 16-yard line, so long distance to go, and the Polar Bears have to regroup here and get back to a nice rhythm on offense. They got them down the field early on their first possession.
Yeah, I like their game plan to start the ball game out. Come out throwing the ball, and let's go for it.
Wilfried, number 10, with Williams now off to his right hip. There's a penalty, I believe, motion or a false start against the Polar Bears. That will give me a chance to go through that offensive unit, which includes the center, Will Rankin, left guard, Aaron Honius, right guard, Nate Jones, left tackle, Carter Kemper, right tackle, Kyle Gunterman, wide receiver, Reed Allen, tight end, Logan Ray, wide receiver, Chad Rex, wide receiver, Malachi Noletti, your quarterback, Will Freed, your tailback, Kristen Williams, the starting offensive unit for the Polar Bears. They get backed up by 5. Williams, little room. He was contacted pretty early on the handoff, and he has stuffed for a little gain. So this will bring up 2nd and 14 deep inside Ohio Northern's territory.
Right. In the first quarter, Ohio Northern had 51 yards in passing. Mount Union had 37 in passing. 6 rushes for 47 yards, so more balance of attack for Mount Union.
Williams again. He will push forward for about 5 and get back to just past the original line of scrimmage, which brings up a very difficult down and distance, because if they don't get it here, Ron, they're going to be kicking into the breeze.
Right.
And you hate to give the Purple Raiders of Mount Union too good a field position.
See, once what Mount Union does as far as bringing the pressure, looks a 4-man line right now. They're only rushing 4.
Freed under a bit of difficulty, able to get the pass away. Pass is caught. Malachi Noletti, first down yardage out to the 41. Good play by Will Freed, stepping up. Nice play by Malachi Noletti. The pass, a good pass, a bit off the mark, but boy, under pressure, they get the job done.
Yeah, nice pass. Real nice catch right over the middle. Caught it with his hands. That's what I like to see, catching it with your hands and not the body.
Malachi Noletti off to a good start. He had a catch in their first drive, a big first down catch there. Came into the game with 8 receptions. Chad Rex, positive yards, and that's all you can hope for here. You hate to go backwards, and that's a nice chunk there on first down. Gain of 4.
Yeah, they're mixing up the receivers nice. So far I think he's went to 3 different receivers.
Ohio Northern also very up-tempo on offense. So again, that play clock, which can't even find or see, should not become too big of a factor. Another pass completion.
Yeah, that's because the play clock isn't working, Jeff.
Well, that would make sense. And they probably figured they don't need it. That guy got the day off.
Yeah,
he could be up here eating hot dogs.
Yeah, they take a break.
Reed Allen, number 6 on that first down pass and catch. So exciting start for the Polar Bears. I hate to go back to that first series where you wish they could have come away with points, preferably touchdown, and they come away empty down inside the red zone. Allen, another open receiver, another catch by Chad Rex, and he's going to be near a first down. It will be about a half a yard short.
The other thing that this does,
Williams will get benefit of this if this continues.
Even though they didn't score on their first possession, that they're keeping Mount Union's offense off the field.
Keep them on the sideline, and I thought you were referring to the passing attack, which eventually you think will help Kristen Williams find maybe some bigger holes in the backfield. And we know what he can do when he finds an opening. Freed keeps it. First down yards, Freed. Not touched until he's inside the 20, down to the 14-yard line.
Nice job there, cutting back right behind the blocker. There was a nice block there by Logan Ray, 6'6", 240-pound senior from Van Wert.
Will Freed on the season had 11 attempts coming in with just 25 yards. So a big scamper for him as he has his team now inside the red zone again. Pass outside, caught. And positive yards again.
Nice spin there. Took 2 guys and he broke 1 tackle and then lost his balance.
Cole Moxie, number 7, I believe. You mentioned number of receivers getting their hands on the ball, Ron. There's been, add another one to the list. Moxie gets him down now, second and short on the 6-yard line. Just under 6.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. An exciting offensive performance by both teams so far. Williams gets around and enough for a first down. So the Polar Bears are going to have it first and goal from the 3-yard line, and you got to like this situation here.
Yeah, I like the way they didn't go up the middle that time. They go off tackle, kind of get him a little bit to the outside where he can make cuts and make moves out there. And that time he made the right move, cut right back inside and got the first down.
My apologies. Number 7 is Chad Rex for the Polar Bears. Had to, in my notes here, at 7 is Moxie for the Purple Raiders. 7 is Chad Rex. You had to catch. They got them the first down. And now Williams, another good run inside the 5. Intercepted on the goal line.
And he's going to go all the way.
100-yard interception return for a touchdown. Tough break for the Polar Bears.
There's a flag down back at about the 28.
Maybe an illegal block, but the interception will stand. Stepping right into the pass, Danny Robinson right on the goal line.
Yeah, the old saying is don't throw the ball late over the middle. And he wanted to go to the receiver right away, wasn't open on the slant, and he waited for him to go over the middle. And I don't think he really saw the defender right there. And the defender made a real nice play there to pick the pass off. We'll wait and see. There's 3 flags back on the 28.
The referees are still talking. I'm going to assume, as you mentioned, the interception will stand. That'll be for Freed, his second interception on the season. And again, making a nice defensive play for Mount Union was number 4, Danny Robinson.
He's a 6 foot, 215-pound sophomore from Massillon.
Well, they are going to award a touchdown, so 3 flags.
And a personal foul on Ohio Northern.
So the score will count, and Ohio Northern commits a personal foul. That'll be assessed on the kickoff. So give Danny Robinson the 100-yard pick 6. Danny Robinson scoring the 13th point for the Purple Raiders, and they will come back now and try to tack on number 14. And that will be attempted by number 19, Alex Lothan.
And he's 20 for 20 on extra points for the season.
And it is good. So at the 5:30 mark of the first quarter, Mount Union now a 14-0 lead. We'll take a break and come back with more OAC college football on NKTelco Sports.
When you choose Radio Hospital for your wireless needs, you get 13 convenient locations, no waiting and long lines, premier service after the sale, and all the latest technology. With locations in Lima, Findlay, Minster, Kenton, Defiance, Napoleon, Wauseon, Bryan, and Archbold, we are right around the corner from you. Visit us today and experience the Radio Hospital difference. We are simply neighbors serving neighbors, providing a refreshing alternative to high-pressure stores. Radio Hospital is your Verizon Wireless premium retailer.
Danny Robinson, his second interception of the season, his first touchdown of the season, gives the Purple Raiders a 14-0 lead against the Polar Bears. And as you said, Ron, how can Ohio Northern look so good on offense and you look at the scoreboard and nothing to show for it?
Right. 2 times inside the 20, and, you got it in the red zone and come up empty, but then compound that with a 100-yard return on the interception, and you find yourself down 14-0. Again, Mount Union's offense has only been out there for 1 possession.
And it wasn't very long, and they were able to efficiently move the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Here's a penalty I don't understand. Obviously, Ohio Northern committed a personal foul. I'm not sure what it was, and especially in professional football, but even here, unless they pooch it, they're going to kick it out of the end zone, and Ohio Northern's going to get out on the 20. So what was the penalty? How do you enforce the penalty?
Yeah, I always thought that's a nice kick right there.
The NFL, they'll send it into the bleachers. Why not try some onside variety kick? If you don't get it, you're going to give the team the ball on maybe the 35.
Exactly.
That was a nice play.
He did the right thing there. The ball could bounce anyway there. It happened to bounce into the end zone, but if Ohio Northern fields that thing, chances of them getting to the 20 is pretty slim.
Yeah, I'm glad you think the way I do.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take our talents up north.
You think that's why we're here and they're
Probably.
down there?
Probably.
All right.
But no, I see that in the NFL. There's these personal fouls, and then they send the kickoff into the kid in the second stand or second row. It just doesn't make sense.
So it really didn't benefit them.
Now there's Ron, here we go. Mount Union offside on the kickoff. So that 5 yards will be tacked on to the touchback, so the ball will start on the 30. Get all that math right. So what would happen if Ohio Northern were to run that back for a touchdown? Would the offsides have been, assessed on their kickoff? But for right now, it's Ohio Northern football. Their third possession, and they've looked good on offense against a defensive team that has given up 17 points in 3 games. So see once if Coach Paul can get it back. Incomplete pass. Trying to find Williams, his speed on the outside with the ball, but incomplete. That stops the clock. Just under 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, when you look at the stats and you see Mount Union gives up 199 yards passing per game and 35 yards rushing, that just shows you what, you have to throw the ball against them. And Ohio Northern doing a great job throwing it until that last interception.
Williams in the middle, some running room. Williams piles down, and the mark might give him a first down, and if so, it'll be a 10-yard pickup.
Yeah, and as you said, Jeff, you pass the ball enough, and that's going to open up some running lanes. They're going to expect pass, and that's when you can run it. So right now, Ohio Northern has them off balance.
Kristen Williams, we saw him last year and the season before at Anna High School, where we covered some high school games. Pass, catch, 9 more yards. Wilfried connecting with Malachi Noletti. Noletti has put together some nice receptions here in the first quarter. Noletti had 2 catches, now have 3 catches for over 70 yards. So good start for Noletti. Freed escapes the tackle, ball downfield. Noletti becomes
great
a receiver. I almost thought he had become a defender, but between 2 and 3, 4 comes down with it.
Yeah, somehow he come up with it. From here, it looked like it was going to be intercepted by one of 2 defenders that could almost have their choice, and Noletti goes up and takes it away.
Well, number 2 is Brian Groves. Number 3 is Colin Crenshaw. And number 4, more importantly for Ohio Northern, was Malachi Noletti, and he wins the battle. Don't know if it would have been intercepted, but he had to get in there and become a defender if he couldn't come away with it, and made a difficult catch. And Williams, spinning around, stood up right at the line of scrimmage, and no yards on that carry. That's 3 straight series now, Ron, that the Polar Bears basically through the air, although Williams has had some nice runs as well, but basically through the air, they have moved the ball between the 20s very nicely.
And now they just have to get it in. When they're in the red zone, they got to come away with points.
Remember, they're playing Mount Union, a team that is the defending champions of Division III, 12 national titles under their belt since, I believe, 1993. Currently the number 1 ranked team in the nation. You can't give them too many breaks. The Polar Bears have to capitalize. Reed needs a block. Doesn't quite get what he needs, as too many white jerseys outnumber the black jerseys, and that will go down as maybe a 1 yard gain, so no sack on the play.
Right there, they wanted to go with that quick out pass, but Mount Union covered that very well. The defender come up on the receiver and took away the pass.
3rd and 9 from the 17. Speaking of the play clock, that hasn't become a factor. They are working on it as we speak. Freed, open receiver, just over the reach of number 6, Reed Allen. So 4th and 9, and the field goal unit comes onto the field. Joe French, 6 of 7 on the season.
And he was the OAC Special Teams Player of the Week last week.
Congratulations to Joe French, and Polar Bears need points any way they can take them, and this would be
6 of 7 on field goals so far this season, with a long of 42 yards.
Blocked. Well, the 34-yard attempt is blocked, and the Polar Bears, 3 possessions, 3 nice drives.
Just didn't get that ball up in the air. It looked low from the get-go.
And they come away for the 3rd time without scoring. And now the Mount Union offense, Ron, we haven't seen them on the field in a while because the defense did the last score, and it's been pretty much time of possession in favor of Ohio Northern, but the scoreboard would, as it shows you now, a two-touchdown deficit.
There was 10 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter the last time we saw them.
And we're just about 2 minutes now with Bradley Mitchell finding room for 6 yards.
Mitchell has about 30 yards rushing so far in the game. Came in averaging 175. But you can't rush the ball if you're not on the field.
That is correct. Sometimes the best way to stop a rushing defense is have them stand on the sideline. That is enough for a first down as Poorman's pass to number 11, Brandon Friss, good for a Mount Union first down, and they move it across the 30 to the 31. Mitchell, first down yardage, he basically wasn't touched until he got near the line to gain.
Wow, he hits that hole fast, and, at 5'6", I wonder if they have a hard time finding him, but boy, is he fast. .56", 175 pounds, so he's well put together.
Pass caught, completed, short gain. Tim Kennedy on the receiving end. Want to go through the Ohio Northern defense. This is only their 2nd time on the field. You got defensive end Jason Hunley, nose tackle Mike Cunningham, defensive tackle Scott Rapps, defensive end Mark Aguilera, outside linebacker Cody Cox, middle linebacker Jack Smergy, outside linebacker Trent Stout, cornerback Kristen Randolph. Pass caught and breaks a tackle, and that will be a 47-yard pass and catch. Touchdown for number 8, Jordan Hargrove. So quick scoring offense again for Hargrove, his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season. And for Poorman, his 4th touchdown throwing, and quickly it's 20-0 in favor of Mount Union. Manning up, the extra point is good. So Lothan continues to be perfect. The Purple Raiders still perfect, 21-0 over the Polar Bears. We'll take a break and come back with more football on NKTelco Sports.
At 21st Century Kitchens, we know that every home has a style to go with it. From first-time homebuyers to families with the pitter-patter of little feet to teenagers taking over the kitchen, 21st Century has what you want, customizing the style, layout, and price point to fit your budget. Kitchens by Craftmade and quality cabinets, countertops by Wilson Art and Cambria, along with availability of granite, marble, and wood.
See what's in store behind the yellow door for your 21st Century Kitchen.
Welcome back, where the Polar Bears have dug themselves into a hole. 21-0 your score. And you can't really blame the offense. They've done what they could to move the ball and actually probably win a time of possession battle that we have here, as there's just 27 seconds left in the first quarter. But unfortunately, you got to put points on the board.
Yeah, that time Hargrove was out on the side, and then there's 2 missed tackles there, and away he went. But nice moves on Hargrove's part.
Kicking from the 35, ball up, end over, and kicked down to about the 3-yard line. Room again. Nice return. I thought it was maybe a face mask. Good field position.
Very nice return there again by Jamison Scarborough.
And he's had a couple where the opening kickoff, he got good yardage, and that one again about a 30-yard return.
Yeah, that looked almost like a replay of the first one.
That'll help his average a little bit. He's coming into the game just 2 kickoff returns for an average of 14.5 yards. And we've seen 2 where he's had at least 30 yards. So he's done well today in his opportunities. 20 seconds left in this first quarter. Will Freed with Williams on his right hip will keep it. An open receiver, number 88, Logan Ray. First down, yardage.
Yeah. Hey, see, again, Ohio Northern moving the football. Just mixing up passes, some intermediate passes, short passes, a long pass.
And I think they will let the clock wind down. So a good first quarter in a way, but unfortunately they find themselves down 3 scores, and they'll hope to turn it around here and get some points on the board in the second quarter. You're watching Ohio Northern football on NKTelco Sports.
Your parents have given you so much throughout the years. They were there when you won first place. Your first heartbreak. Your first car. Your first wreck. Graduation. Planning that special day. Is it time to give back? Give your mom the life she gave you at Elmwood.
Schwiedemann Pharmacies began serving the people of Auglaize County in 1916 when Urban Schwiedemann purchased the building and business from J.H. Hoffman. The New Bremen location is one of the longest-running pharmacies in the country, with over 110 years of serving its patrons. Since then, 4 more stores have been added: Coldwater, St. Mary's, Minster, and Wapakoneta to round out the group. Our services include prescription refills, home medical equipment, nursing home services, customized compounded medication, vaccinations, and so much more.
The second quarter, Polar Bears will look to score on this drive. Freed under pressure. His ball's going to be underthrown right into the hands of number 7, Cole Moxie. And Moxie will run out of bounds. He's tackled hard out of bounds. Pass got underthrown, and Moxie playing center field, really the best player on the field to catch it. And he comes away not only with the interception, but good return yards to give his offense good starting field position.
Yeah, he come back with a 40-yard return there after the interception. Actually, 43 yards.
So tough way to start.
Yeah, that time Freed pump faked, and when he threw it, the ball was underthrown probably about 10 yards.
I don't know if the wind would have held that up some, or he'd think the wind would have maybe helped it.
Yeah, and maybe he thought the receiver was going to break off a route too. I don't know.
Mitchell this time, the Polar Bears stuff him at the line of scrimmage. Danced around, not able to really break free. So 2nd and 10, the defense for the Polar Bears, if they can find a stop on this drive, give the ball back to their offense, need to figure a way out to try to slow down the Purple Raiders offense. Pass, caught, short gain. On the catch here, Zach Harrington.
A nice catch there. Throw was low. Harrington went down and got that ball right off the turf.
Want to just finish up the defensive guys for the Polar Bears. Last time we got interrupted on the touchdown throw. The safeties are Jason Lucas and Dan Eller, and the cornerback is Nick Rezick to make up the defensive unit for the Polar Bears. Third down.
Yeah, Luke Poorman quietly has gone 7 out of 8, be 8 out of 9 now.
Well, that was actually, that's Fulford, D'Angelo Fulford, number 12 in. Don't know if when he came in, Ron, but that was 12 right there.
Okay.
The second hate to say the second string quarterback. They both seem to play a lot, but
Yeah, so that was his first possession. Poorman was 7 of 8 before going out of the game at 99 yards, which I would have expected that to have been less than that.
field goal attempt here of 42 yards, and that is going to be short. Not by much, but enough. And the defense for the Polar Bears tighten up a bit, and they do not allow the Mountain Union Purple Raiders to score on that interception and good return.
Louthman was 3 of 5 on field goals before that attempt. His longest one was 44 yards. That had the end of the wind definitely played havoc with that ball.
It didn't miss, but it wasn't short by much. But you can see the wind really held it up and shortened it down. So Polar Bears will again now come out here. Their first possession of the second quarter was a one-play interception, and now they will start again here under 25-yard line.
Yeah, Freed is 10 of 15 for 160 yards, but he has those 2 interceptions.
Williams up the middle for 5. Again, the 1 interception hurt the Polar Bears big time as they were able to run it back. The Polar Bears, the Purple Raiders, Danny Robinson returning at 100 yards for the score. Last interception didn't result in a score, but again, it kind of broke up some of that Ohio Northern offensive rhythm they had been experiencing, and they'll look to reload here and start again with a 2nd and short. Williams running room, get a good block. He's going to have some more room. Williams from the 30 down to the 40.
Nice run there. About 30-yard scamper for Williams.
So Williams, we mentioned, matter of time. He hadn't broke many big ones. He had some mid-range, like 8-9 yards, but that one, a 30-yarder, moves the ball across midfield and puts it on the 40 of Mountain Union. And the Polar Bear offense again finding success moving the ball between the 20s. Freed keeps it. Has their open receiver, and that is going to be intercepted. Stepping in front of the receiver is number 20.
That's Austin White, a 6'2 sophomore from Wadsworth.
Boy, nice play by White coming over. It looked as if when the ball was thrown, that open receiver, Reed Allen, would make the catch, and coming across from his middle spot, White stepping in and making the 3rd interception of the first half. Again, stopping a positive offensive series for the Polar Bears.
White made up a lot of ground there while that ball was in the air.
Mountain Union, who did not score in their last possession, will come out here with a 21-0 lead. Basically just inside or just getting started here in the second quarter. 12 minutes, 30 seconds left. And Mitchell, I think that's probably the last couple of times he's touched the ball, Ron. Not much running room for Bradley Mitchell.
All right, they're doing a nice job knowing where he's at all times. I think he's up to about 47 yards rushing right now.
Well under his average of 175. Pass dumped off to Bradley Mitchell. A lot of running room. Polar Bears will corral him, but not until he gains 21 yards. 20, maybe a little bit more than that. 17 to the 40.
He's like a gnat out there. He just, guys swatting at him, and he just juking, jiving all over there.
For Mitchell, though, I do not have him down or as many receptions this season. That be hard to believe that was his first receiving pass of the season. Kennedy on the reception for the Purple Raiders. Second down 4 as Mountain Union approaches midfield. Some pressure on the quarterback as he is hit. As he throws it, as Fulford was being pressured by an ONU defensive lineman, I believe it was number 32, Kyle Rowe. in with some pressure, forcing the pass to maybe be thrown a bit sooner. Now a 3rd down and 4, so if the Polar Bear defense Ron can step up again, here to be a nice way to stop and force the punt.
There they plugged up the hole nicely and drug him down after a gain of about 1. So this will be Mount Union's first punt of the ball game.
Carry was by Jawanza Evans Morris, and maybe that's who the Polar Bears have stopped in this drive. I don't know which running back started the series for the Purple Raiders, but that time Jawanza Evans Morris stopped, as you mentioned, a first punt into the wind. So we'll see once what the Polar Bears.
He's averaging 43 yards a punt, but that's into the wind.
And not a real good one, but it does get the ball inside the 30 to about the 27, and Ohio Northern will start there again, trying to get the game's first points on the board for them. Now give me a chance here as they huddle up to go through some of our sponsors.
21st Century Kitchens, Elmwood Assisted Living, Sweeterman's Pharmacy, New Knoxville Supply, Keyhole Pizza, Minster Bank, Minster Dental, NKTelco, Francis Furniture, St. Mary's Trucking, Cy Sweeterman, Westaff, Radio Hospital. Scoreboard is sponsored by First National Bank. Think First. Keys to the Game was brought to you by Bud's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Salina, where the dealer makes a difference.
And speaking of the difference, Williams on the catch moves the chains, a gain of 13, maybe about 12 yards. More importantly, a first down for Ohio Northern. Gain of 10. Pass out to Chad Rex, and he will move forward for about 3 or 4.
That's a nice little pass. It takes the place of a running play basically out there. And nice short out pass, and he's got a blocker out there, so he picks up a nice 4 yards there on that play.
Anytime you can get positive yards on a play like that, it's a nice accomplishment. Again, Purple Raiders very good defending the rush.
35 yards a game they give up.
Some movement by the Polar Bears will back them up, bring up 2nd and 11.
That'll be on the center. He kind of faked the hike. I don't know if he had the wrong snap count. Nobody else moved. And he caught himself in mid-snap and just kind of stopped.
Will Rankin, number 55, the guilty party, and he will try again here. The shotgun with Reed in the backfield along with Williams on his right hip. Going in motion is Logan Ray, and the handoff is faked, and there is Ray on the outside near a first down. That'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Another nice short pass, manageable 3rd down.
Logan Ray came into the contest with 5 receptions on the season.
Actually, it's 2nd down now.
You're right, my fault with the penalty. It was down over, so 2nd and short. Logan Ray, 5 catches for 31 yards on the season and a touchdown. And you mentioned a couple times, Ron, a safe pass. Ohio Northern's already thrown 3 interceptions here in the first half, so maybe go back to where they can be more ball controlled or security as Williams went from disaster to dynasty, if you will.
Yeah, I don't think he can teach that. That was just instinct there. He kind of did a pirouette out there and back to his right, and away he went right up the middle. The Purple Raiders basically stuffed that play to begin with.
That's one of the reasons why I believe Coach Dean Paul is impressed with Kristen Williams. He has been the workhorse in the backfield this season in 3 games, has done basically 90% of the rushing attempts for the Polar Bear offense, and now he's catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, there he catches it in the backfield. He's got one-on-one with a defender, and he's going to win most of those battles.
Williams, 12 receptions coming into the game, a couple already today.
He's coming out with blood, I think, maybe on his elbow.
Coming in to replace him was number 33, David Hasselou. Oh, there you are, instant offense. Hasselou comes in and instantly they shove the ball in the breadbasket. He goes forward for no gain, 3rd and 3. Ball on the 41, and Williams remains on the sideline.
They're a little slow getting the tape on his arm.
And this might be about the first time where the play clock, the back judge is taking a look at his watch. He'll give a signal, I think, when it's under 5 or 10 seconds. His hand goes up, so we're under 10. And the Polar Bears get off in time, pass out.
Oh,
he's going to go 41 yards. Hasselou
how about
off
that?
the bench in support of Williams. David Hasselou, a 41-yard touchdown catch and run. So first scoring points of the afternoon from the Polar Bears, and much needed as they cut into this Mount Union lead. And boy, nice offensive performance by the Polar Bears. The point after touchdown, it is good. Kick by Joe French gives the Polar Bears their 7th point. When we come back, we'll have more football here from Ohio Northern on NKTelco Sports.
If you want to save 70% on your heating, cooling, and hot water costs, the answer is right under your feet. Let New Knoxville Supply install a water furnace geothermal system and use the natural temperature from the earth for a more constant temperature in your home. Also ask about our new Symphony Home Management System. Control temperatures, track energy usage, and receive safety alerts for everything, including your sump pump. All from anywhere, anytime. Now is the time to calculate your savings at newknoxvillesupply.com.
Welcome back to Bill Robinson Field, Dow Robertson Stadium. David Hasselou, his 2nd catch of the season, is good for 41 yards, and the Polar Bears on the board finally after some very good offensive performances.
Yeah, I don't think Mount Union was expecting Hasselou to get that ball. Nice little swing pass to the left, and I'll tell you what, there was a big hole there. A nice job by the offensive line of the Polar Bears.
Hasselou, a freshman, 5'8", 175 pounds, from Montour High School from the state to the east of Ohio. Ron and I are both Cleveland Browns fans, so we have trouble saying exactly which city in that state he is from. But it's the same city where Ben Roethlisberger is quarterback for that NFL team. So the defense, Ron, for the Polar Bears have done a nice job the past 2 series. They've not allowed points. Their offense now finally gets a break that they needed. Yeah, the big score, the excitement's back. If the defense can get another stop, can the offense continue to do what they've been doing all game?
Right. We'll see if they can get another stop and force them to punt the ball into that nice breeze they got behind the Polar Bears' back.
Poorman back into the game as quarterback. Also Mitchell, who I don't think was in the series last possession for the Mount Union Purple Raiders, also back in now, and a good run for 8 yards by Bradley Mitchell. As I mentioned, Luke Poorman,
he's
back at quarterback.
Yep. D'Angelo Fulford completed 3 of 5 passes while he was in the game.
There's a penalty, and they'll blow the whistle, so it must be a false start.
For 31 yards. Receiving-wise, Kennedy has 5 receptions for 40 yards. Hargrove, 1 reception for 53 yards. That was a big one. And B.J. Mitchell, 1 reception for 23 yards.
Yeah, the 51 or 53-yarder was a touchdown catch for the Purple Raiders. What is the time of possession? I was just curious if that's on there as far as, boy, the Polar Bears seem like they've had the ball a lot.
It's
nowhere to go. And throwing it away, and
that's a flag.
penalty. Well, someone
lost a helmet, too. Might have been a penalty there.
Are they going to get kind of away from where you'd consider roughing the passer? There was a penalty. There's a black helmet on the ground. I think it was a black helmet.
Well, they're deciding that. The possession time, 8 minutes and 24 seconds for Mount Union, 14 minutes and 32 seconds for the Polar Bears.
No flag. I didn't catch if they were looking for intended receiver.
Looked like a flag.
Well, there was. They're not going to.
They picked it up.
You're right. They're not going to assess the penalty. After further review, they're going to pick it up, put it back in the pocket, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7, a big down here for the defense of the orange and black. If they can get a stop, would force a punt. So the play clock now starting. Game clock stopped at 6:23. Big play defensively. If the Polar Bears can get a stop. Pass bobbled out of bounds.
He was juggling it as he went out of bounds. Didn't have possession of the ball.
It would have been right at the first down stick. Jordan Hargrove could not come up with a clean reception. That'll force 4th down. 3 stops now for the Polar Bear defense. And it will force a punt. Chad Rex, the lone receiver, back for the Polar Bears on his own 35-yard line.
Okay, just what the doctor ordered for the Polar Bears now, if they can take this punt and turn it into some points.
Snap is one hop to the punter, and he will get off an end-over-end kick that will take a decent bounce considering the snap that was short-hopped and there was some pressure. The Polar Bears will take over at the 33-yard line. So the offense, Ron, we've been very impressed today. You know, other than the turnovers, the 3 interceptions, they had a field goal get blocked. They haven't. They punted
3 times inside the red zone and came away empty, and plus one of those turned into a 100-yard return.
And no punt. So they've, I won't say they've self-destructed, but they've moved the ball and just not been able to come up with a big play until last drive. David Hasselou, a catch out of the backfield, and he went 41 yards for the touchdown. Williams is back into the game. Freed will step up. Open receiver just overthrown, and luckily falls to the ground. Chad Rex, the intended receiver.
Very fortunate there that that was not intercepted. If the 2 defenders were right there, basically closing in on the football right when it hit the ground. But if that ball would have been up in the air much longer, it would have been another interception.
6 minutes, 2 seconds left before half. Handoff goes to Williams. He is going to be strung out, gets a stiff arm that will allow him to get around the outside and go forward for 11 yards.
What a run. Broke a tackle in the backfield. Could have got him for a loss there. Kind of a stiff arm, and away he went around the outside, and enough for a 1st down. Turn a negative into a positive.
I'll give him just over 70 yards here in the first half, rushing. Freed now in trouble. He will try to do his best to get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll be short. It'll be a quarterback sack. But the Polar Bears still have the ball, so it didn't force anything.
So Williams is right on schedule, averaging 135 yards a game, and he's just over 70 right now with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. He's had some pretty good chunks of yardage each time.
Yeah, long of 30. But other than that, he had some other intermediate carries. Here's another potential big one.
He's still on his feet.
16.
He was down. I think the ball was down when he lost control of it.
17-yard gain for Williams. And it will stay, as you mentioned, with Ohio Northern. Ball just inside the 40-yard line. The Polar Bear offense moving the ball again here in this first half. Reed steps up. His pass was intended for number 4, Malachi Noletti, and it incomplete.
Just a little longer, before he threw it a little late that time, maybe a little quick. If he'd waited just a little bit longer, the defender slipped and fell down. He would have had a big completion there.
Mike Smits, the offensive coordinator, also works with the quarterbacks. His game plan working very well here in this first half against a good Mountain Union football team. Breaking a couple tackles and going down near the line to gain is number 4, Malachi Noletti, on a kind of a wide receiver sweep or inside handoff to Malachi as he was in motion.
So we got 3rd and 2 now for the Polar Bears.
Mentioned Mike Smits, the offensive coordinator. His offense has done well today. Defensive coordinator Glenn Schwitzko has done a better job on defense and maybe here against a very good Mountain Union offense. So that pass knocked down. Overall, it's been a pretty good performance here from Ada. And now a big 4th down coming up, too far for a field goal. It would be a 47, 48-yarder. They will go for it. And they were stuffed on 4th and short early in the game, Ron. I think the very first possession down on the 3-yard line or down close to the goal line, the Polar Bears were stuffed. They will try to go 1 for 2 on the afternoon from 4th and short. 4th and a long yard. Ray in motion. Keeps it as free, and his pass is deflected, intended for number 6, Reed Allen.
Very fortunate that wasn't returned.
The offensive series comes to a halt. The defense will go back to work. And
number 3, Eric Scott, read that play and jumped it and just barely missed an interception there.
So a tough break for the offensive defense, which has performed very well. They've given up just basically 2 touchdowns. The other one, the return for score. But they've shut down the Mountain Union offense the past 3 series, I believe, Ron, where they've eliminated any points from being scored. Lots of time.
They got him.
Poorman, though, his time runs out. Consider that maybe a coverage sack. Finally, the defensive line able to sack Poorman.
While going through the notes, Jeff, there's one guy on the coaching staff of Ohio Northern that stood out, and that was Kyle Miller. He's an Elida high school graduate, played for Mount Union, was drafted in the NFL. I think he played 4 seasons in the NFL. Atlanta was one team.
Miami Dolphins was the other.
Now he's coaching the tight ends for Ohio Northern. And for those of you that don't know, that's he's the son of Mark Miller.
Gotcha.
Used to play for Bowling Green.
Oh, I knew there was a BG connection coming up.
He's a Falcon. I think he was in probably the mid-70s, like 74, 75, 76, something like that, and then was drafted by our beloved Cleveland Browns.
Now you're talking.
And then played for Green Bay also. So there's quite a history there.
Yeah, Kyle Miller mentioned had a 4-year career in NFL. Played 1 game with the Indianapolis Colts in 2012, was on the practice squad with the Dolphins in 2013, and also with the Atlanta Falcons in 2014. So he appeared in 2 games last season with the San Diego Chargers. So now bringing his talents back to Ohio Northern. We have a player down on the field. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more football here on NKTelco Sports.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Welcome back here as the Purple Raiders 3rd and 4. Here comes the pressure. It is caught. First down across midfield. And a big first down for the Purple Raiders. Number 8, Jordan Hargrove.
Nice throw and catch there between 3 Ohio Northern defenders.
If Polar Bears could have got a stop, it would have forced a punt as we're time running out here in the first half. We're down to 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Poorman gets it out to number 14, Kennedy. He is held up for a 3-yard gain.
Tackle there by Keenan Lichty. 6 foot, 195-pound junior from Huntington, Indiana.
Pass complete. Another short gain.
Another big third down play here for the Polar Bears. They stop them, get the ball back, see
Under
what
2
they can
minutes.
do. Oop, here comes
Penalty.
the blitz.
False start against the Raiders. That will push them back now, make it 3rd and 11.
Polar Bears are bringing 6 rushers that time.
3rd and 10, I guess, right back to the first chain, and 3rd and 10 out now from the 44-yard line. Mitch Doherty, the center for the Purple Raiders, gives the ball back. Long pass down the middle of the field, and just out of the reach of number 11, Brandon Friss. Or Breeden Friss. So that'll bring up 4th and 10, and defense again holding Mountain Union. It'll force a punt. Polar Bears want to make sure they don't mishandle this punt down near their own goal line.
It'd be nice to get a return here, maybe come up a little bit and expect a shorter kick, keep it from rolling in close to the end zone.
Chad Rex back for Ohio Northern. It's a short kick, and he's yelling for his players to get out of the way, and it will skip out of bounds at the 24-yard line. 1 minute, 18 seconds left. Polar Bears will have, I believe, all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, nice break there for the Polar Bears. That ball bounced directly to the sideline and not forward, but that's what I was getting at. If they could catch that ball before it rolled.
Eliminate that lost field position.
Yeah.
Polar Bears receive the opening kick, so they will have to kick off in the second half. You like to get a score before half. We also, Ron, you want to make sure you don't get too aggressive and go 3 and out on 3 incomplete passes and have to punt the ball back to Mount Union and give them a chance with time on the clock to score before half, because, again, they're going to get the third quarter kick, and Williams finds room around the left side and stays in bounds before he's pushed out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. That's a big gain of about 17, 18 yards.
Nice block there by Aaron Honius from Brookville, a 6'1", 280-pound senior. Williams followed his block and came off of it and got a good gain off of that.
Minute 13, ball on the 43 of Ohio Northern.
Oh.
There's motion or movement. Someone jumped.
Right guard moved.
False start against Ohio Northern. We'll move it back 5.
Well, it's not real serious here with a minute and 13 seconds to go. You're going to have to get more than 15 yards anyway.
And that is going to hurt. The sack, the loss for yards. We'll bring up now third and long, right? No, second and long. See once if Mount Union burns any timeouts, try to force a punt here by Ohio Northern with such long yards to go. 2nd and 23. And now if you're Ohio Northern, I think you want to make sure you just maybe hand off to number 5. Get out of here with the score as it is.
Right.
But boy, the old what ifs come up big here today at Ada. Polar Bears have played very well. And Williams won't go down. Hopefully he just doesn't fumble it. He'll end up losing some yards, and that will probably wrap up the first half. Take that back. Now they take a timeout.
Right.
So 21 seconds left. 3rd and long. 3rd and 30. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have this 3rd and 30 from Ada here on here on NKTelco Sports.
At Minster Bank, we understand that life can get hectic. That's why when it comes to your banking, we offer the services that make your life simpler with tools like person-to-person payments, Pop Money, mobile and online banking, and bill pay. But most of all, Minster Bank is a supportive member of your community with personal relationships and customer service that reach outside of our branches. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
21 seconds left. 3rd and 30. Your Polar Bears are going to have a difficult task here, and I'm sure Mount Union is hoping for a quick stop. They'll take another timeout and force an Ohio Northern punt, which if they do run, that'll be their first punt of the half. So it tells you what kind of job they've done offensively, although they have committed 3 turnovers, which has stifled some of those good drives that they've had.
Yeah, it's just a shame that, they played the way they have on offense, especially, and come up short on the scoreboard. But the turnovers, the interceptions have really hurt them.
That pass intended for number 88, Logan Ray, and a little surprised with that. Obviously, you're looking for a big play, but now that stops the clock. There's only 16 seconds left, but that doesn't force Mount Union to call another timeout. So they're going to get the ball back here with not a lot of time, but they're going to have some more timeouts than what they should have.
Yeah, that was a case where if he's open, that's fine, but he wasn't open, so probably would have been best suited just to, there's the block.
Can he get a first down yards? Logan Ray will come up short. I think if my football knowledge would have worked, he needed another 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But actually that's a good play because Mount Union would have had the ball down about the 15-yard line. Instead, it's out past the 40 with just 4 seconds left.
Right. Yeah, well, I was getting at before, if he would have just taken a knee down there, they would have avoided that happening. You're looking at a block punt. That was not good.
Well, the Polar Bears, in a way, I think dodge a bullet.
The Polar Bears are taking the ball.
No, the ball was blocked behind.
But I don't understand why they think they have the ball.
The ball was still behind.
Unless they thought there was a change of possession.
Did it hit someone from Mount Union behind the line of scrimmage?
Or Mount Union didn't have possession, did they, back there?
No, I don't think so. I thought it was blocked. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of tricky.
If they had possession of the ball
I don't remember
and
seeing
fumbled
possession.
it
maybe hit someone, but was there possession?
Yeah,
no.
I'm sure it touched somebody.
It was blocked behind the line of scrimmage.
But I really believe it's Mount Union's ball.
I hate to say, Ron, this happened to the Browns years ago where they blocked the field goal. It was a field goal got blocked. But because the touching was behind the line of scrimmage, it had something to do with who could recover it and where they got it. This was a blocked punt. I really don't know what the details are.
Well, I think since they blocked it and they picked it up behind the line of scrimmage, they can advance the ball.
And that's, I think, what happened. And
Yeah.
I would agree. But he didn't get a first down
Right,
yardage, so the
exactly.
ball would go over. Cause
Yeah, it would have been fourth down.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, it wasn't fourth down. It was it was on fourth down, so they came up 8 yards short of the first down. It was odd looking because they had so many yards to go for the first down.
Correct. And I'm just trying to think of the few block kicks that you do see, whether it's college, NFL, high school.
But-
Usually there's not a. It's usually run in the other direction.
We're not the only ones having a discussion now. If
True.
The officials are having a discussion down there, and it's taken all 7 of them to figure this out. We only have 2 people.
True. And we'll see once here is.
Now they're going to go to both sidelines and explain it to the coaches.
Well, the ball was blocked behind the line of scrimmage. It was recovered by Ohio Northern behind the line of scrimmage.
Ohio Northern still out there on the field on offense. They have their offense out there.
And now the ball's being put way back on the 35.
Right. I
which
don't understand that at all.
Because the ball was out here near the 47.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the ball moves from the 45 to the 35.
Well, let's listen up here. Maybe we'll get some sort of answer. And maybe not. Well, they're, wow. I really don't know.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I couldn't hear everything he was saying because of people yelling, but
there was a couple people down below us really upset about 12 people.
So I'm not real sure. It's a Ohio Northern ball. I have no idea. Someone touched it, but I just don't know. Just 4 seconds, last play of the half. It goes incomplete, and an awkward ending to a first 2 15-minute quarters of action, but Polar Bears just down by 14 points. Have to go in the locker room around feeling decent. Got some work to do in the second half. And with that, we'll come back take a break here with the Ohio Northern Marching Band. Sit back and enjoy them, and we'll have more football after that here on NKTelco Sports.
You owe it to yourself twice a year a checkup at Minster Dental Care. Our specialized doctors, Jim Overman, Jim Myring, Sean Sharp, and Philip Slunkowski, are ready to give you the smile you've always dreamed of at any stage of your life. Pediatric, orthodontic, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry are just a few of the services offered. Our latest advancements include CEREC dentistry that allows us to create and deliver a crown in one convenient visit. We're located on State Route 66 in Minster, 419-628-3380 to schedule your appointment today. You owe it to yourself.
Jump, jump. What? Oh, come on. Set.
Plastic surgery is very expensive today.
Jet!
Jet?
Come on, shoot him.
Need more bandwidth? Switch to NKTelco and run all your devices.
The big game is right around the corner. Are you ready for it? Come into Francis Furniture and find the right fit for you and your friends in our Lazy Boy Comfort Studio. With Lazy Boy Premier Sofa and Sectionals, you can custom order a look that's just your style. Choose from hundreds of decorator fabrics or choose genuine leather for its luxury. The big game is right around the corner. Are you ready for it? Come into Francis Furniture and find the right fit for you and your friends in our Lazy Boy Comfort Studio. With Lazy Boy Premier Sofa and Sectionals, you can custom order a look that's just your style. Choose from hundreds of decorator fabrics or choose genuine leather for its luxurious feel and durability. Come into Francis Furniture today, the area's only Lazy Boy Comfort Studio.
There's a lot of early mornings that go into 40 years of service, a lot of miles on these tires, and millions of pounds of cargo have traveled in these trailers. It's about dependable service, the kind of service that shows up 30 minutes early every time, that gets your products, cargo, and business from point A to point B safely, quickly, and efficiently. We are St. Mary's Trucking, traveling the roads of commerce in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky. Men and women who produce the solutions that make your business grow, because the most important thing to them is you. Here's the thing, if you're the kind of guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes farming, who gets up at dawn, determined to get the best crop and the best yield, why surrender to the mercy of the water table? Cy Schwieterman Incorporated can lower your water table to an average of 2 to 3 feet below the surface, allowing you to grow stronger, healthier plants that root deeper, that are more resilient to the elements, that enable longer growing seasons, and can produce higher results in the fields and in your pocket. Trust CSI, your drainage experts since 1946.
Welcome back to Ohio Northern University as they honor the track and field teams here at Ohio Northern. And with that, we'll give us a few minutes here to go through our first half stats. Your score right now, 21-7 in favor of Mount Union. And Ron Cruzy, I'll let you go through that.
Okay, for Ohio Northern, first downs, Ohio Northern had 15. Mount Union had 10. Passing attempts, Mount Union 13 for 19, no interceptions. Ohio Northern was 15 for 28, 3 interceptions. That was a big key of the first half. Rushing yards, Mount Union 14 rushes for 79 yards. Ohio Northern 19 rushes for 121 yards. Total offense, Mount Union 233 yards, Ohio Northern 352 yards. And the big thing there is Mount Union had 33 plays, whereas Ohio Northern ran 47 plays in the first half. Penalties, Mount Union had 3 for 15 yards, Ohio Northern had 4 for 30 yards. Another big stat here is time of possession. Mount Union, 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Ohio Northern, 18 minutes and 13 seconds.
Ron, if you look at those stats right there, if you wouldn't have known the score, and I just gave you that information and blacked out the score, I'm sure you'd look at that and say the team on the right side of your stat sheet is probably winning this game.
Right, yeah, you would think that team would be up by at least 7 points.
Now, again, a couple factors are there's 3 turnovers. The one big one ran back for the touchdown that gave Mount Union 7 points. And but other than that, it's been dominated offensively, by the Polar Bears. They've stopped the Purple Raiders a few times late in the half. After Mount Union, they'll give them credit. They started out like a house of fire. I thought, boy, it's going to be a long afternoon. And Ohio Northern's offense continues to do well. Yeah. The defense has found what they needed to do to stop the Purple Raiders, but you got to think the offense has got to start finishing drives, not just looking pretty between the 20s.
Yeah, and not only the 3 interceptions, but where those interceptions occurred. The 2 of those interceptions were in the red zone. Red zone chances and scores, Mount Union 1 of 1, and Ohio Northern 0 for 3.
Yeah, if I would have maybe covered that stat up before I gave you this test, you probably would have maybe saw, well, there's a big factor. Inside to 23 times, no points.
That's correct.
And include a blocked field goal in that mix for Ohio Northern that took points off the board or didn't allow them to score. So, tough break. That's 2 more quarters to go.
And that runs Mount Union's record so far in the red zone, like we mentioned before. They've been in the red zone 18 times this year, 22 times, and they've scored 18 touchdowns out of those 22 times. So that's unbelievable.
That's a good reason why they're pretty good and ranked number 1 in the nation. Polar Bears kickoff to start the half, and that will be a kneel down in the end zone. And if you were with us at the end of the second quarter, we kind of had a bizarre play where Northern was punting. The ball got blocked, and there was some discussion. From what we were told is the punt was blocked. It went past the line of scrimmage, and it was touched by a white jersey, a Mount Union jersey, but it wasn't possession. It was what they consider a muff. You cannot advance a muff. You can advance a fumble, but it wasn't a fumble. So Ohio Northern then got the ball where it was muffed and then recovered. And that was kind of, in so many words, a way to clean up that little bizarre ending to the second quarter. Kind of happened pretty quickly. A lot of things going on and a lot of people getting excited, but that's how we ended. And we start now with the first down carry by a man that's been very busy for the Purple Raiders today. And number 1, Bradley Mitchell. And Ron, he had a good first half as well.
Yeah, he did. He had 10 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. His longest run was 19 yards, so that's an average of 6.5 yards per carry. And also receiving, he had 1 reception for 23 yards. And on the other side of the ledger, Ohio Northern, Kristen Williams, 13 carries for 99 yards, averages 7.6 yards a carry. So that's actually above his normal
performance, yes.
Yeah.
And Mitchell a little bit below his. So
right.
First down by Kennedy on the reception as back-to-back positive plays as Jack Smergy on the tackle.
So I think Williams was definitely helped out there by the passing game, created a lot of those nice rushing lanes.
Joanza Evans-Morris, the first down carry, and the Purple Raiders have quickly moved across the midfield stripe into Polar Bear territory, and we're going to have the Polar Bears tighten up a bit on defense as it seems like the Purple Raiders are getting in some rhythm. They're running off some big chunk plays and moving the chains, and we've only played a minute and a half, and they've already advanced the ball nicely.
Yeah, this looks more like their first drive of the ball game.
First drive of the ball game, they went basically the length of the field and scored at will on that first possession. This is a nice move by Joanza Evans-Morris.
Made a nice move there to avoid the tackle. And, he doesn't need much room, but boy, he catches the ball and makes a move. He gains another 5-6 yards after that.
So first down 10, ball on the 39-yard line. Under 13 minutes to play in the third quarter. Poorman keeps it. Nice, had me fooled. I thought the handoff went up the middle to Bradley Mitchell. Instead, Luke Poorman with a positive 6-yard carry.
Yeah, I think they've got D'Angelo Fulford back in the ball game for the Purple Raiders.
I apologize. That was 12 then. 12 is back in the game. He is D'Angelo Fulford, and that pass complete to Kennedy. Tim Kennedy on the reception, and he's had his number called a number of times today as well from Hudson, 5'10 senior, and the Purple Raiders on the 20 inside the red zone. We'll see once around if they keep that nice percentage going of trips into the red zone.
There goes Mitchell right up the middle. They've gotten some good yardage off of that play. That he goes right up the middle and finds the hole and then makes his move and tries to get some extra yards off of it.
Purple Raiders heating things up here to start the third quarter. B.J. Mitchell around the left side.
There you go.
But it'll be real close to a first down. If not, it'll be third and short as they nestle the ball near the 10-yard line. Again, a big play here is it'll be third and short. You got to think Mountain Union would go for it if they don't get the first down.
That was Dan Eller on that tackle and made a nice play before he made a move and got by him.
Fulford, the second quarterback to play for the Purple Raiders, hands off to B.J. Mitchell. He gets the first down carry towards the 5, give him the 6-yard line. They'll move the chains, and they'll bring up 1st and goal. And our play clock, Ron, I see here in the second half, is our functioning. That has not been really coming to play at all. Both these teams really exciting football, fast-paced style, up and at him at the line of scrimmage. Fulford has an angle. He will scamper in for a 7-yard touchdown run by D'Angelo Fulford, and the Purple Raiders open up the second half with a very impressive opening drive.
Nice piece of ball handling there by Fulford. Faked the handoff, and a couple Ohio Northern guys went for the fake, and that left Fulford wide open going to the left corner of the end zone.
Point after touchdown is perfect. And with 11 minutes exactly to go in the third quarter, it's Mount Union 28, Ohio Northern University 7. We'll take a break, come back with more football on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Welcome back to Bill Robinson Field. Jeff Henshin alongside me today is Ron Cruzy, and Polar Bears, Ron, their offense has been good. This will be their first look in the second half. They're going to have to come out and score because Mountain Union looked like they did on their very first possession of the game, marching it right down the field for the game's first score. They score here in the first possession of the second half, bump that lead back up to 21.
Yeah, so now it's very important for ONU to respond to that with a drive of their own, get back to what they were doing well in the first half, and that seemed to be mixing up the pass and the run, but basically setting up the run by using the pass. And we'll see what they can do with it now.
Short kick. A dangerous one. The ball is loose. And the man in stripes pointing in favor of Ohio Northern. A dangerous kick. Kind of a no man's land, and you got guys that aren't used to fielding the ball, more used to blocking, trying to corral it, and fortunately for Ohio Northern, they do.
Yeah, they avoided disaster there. Give the ball back to the Purple Raiders, on the 27-yard line with a short field. That would have been a disaster.
Coach Dean Paul in his 13th season at Ohio Northern. His Polar Bear team last year, 9-3 overall. They finished 7-2 in the OAC, which was good for second. He's had a nice career at Ohio Northern, 84-40 overall. And Freed, nowhere to go. He's going to lose yards. Big loss on that sack.
Yeah, the rush came from his blind side there. He did not see it and couldn't get the ball. Nice coverage in the defensive backfield. Everybody's covered, so he had to eat it.
So 2nd and 20. You just get a feel right now, Ron, that the offense, that the air, for whatever reason, has really been taken out of the Ohio Northern football team, and they're going to have to bounce back with some positive plays here to avoid really giving the Purple Raiders the ball back so quickly and in good field position.
Yeah, they struggled at the end of the second quarter there, and it looks like that's going to continue here.
Williams doing his best to avoid loss of yards. He struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. I'll bring up 3rd down and 20. So tough spot here for the Polar Bears as this opening drive on the second half has not started the way they would hope for it.
The clock's down to 9:30 right now left here in the third quarter.
Freed again being pressured out of the pocket. We'll throw it away to avoid the sack. And that will bring up 4th down. So a difficult start. Probably Ron worst. Probably one of their worst possessions of the game.
Yeah, 3 and out, and nothing really worked there.
And I say that, I don't mean it to be negative, but boy, they look so good. Almost made it look easy between the 20s in the first half at times that you would have, just you're expecting something positive. Maybe not on every play, but at least most of them. And that time, just a bad series. As a snap, this won't help high, and it will be recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. Coming away with the loose ball is number 9.
It was a high snap, couldn't haul it down, and then, so often you see them kick the ball out of the play, which would have been a safety, or cover it up, and it would have been a safety, but instead tried to pick it up, and they knocked it loose and scored a touchdown off of it.
I'm going to guess that was Steve Tracy, number 9, a defensive back. Right spot, right time to secure the loose ball, and that gives the 35th point of the game on the point after touchdown. So a tough start here in the second half for the Polar Bears. We'll take a break, come back with more football here on NKTelco Sports.
As a business owner, do you find yourself reviewing too many applications, or are you the job seeker filling out dozens of applications in an attempt to find employment? West staff has been bridging the gap between employers and employees since 1988. Jobs range from manufacturing and clerical to specialized fields such as quality control and engineering. West staff has the ability to operate as your company's entire HR department or simply payroll employees on a temp to hire basis. West staff, your partner in business.
Welcome back. Once again, the Polar Bears, Ron, are in a huge hole, down by 28 points. Back-to-back scoring possessions by the Purple Raiders, one on offense, and then just basically, it seemed like a minute later, forcing Ohio Northern into a punt. The snap goes over their head, recovered in the end zone, 7 more points.
Right. You go back to the first quarter, Ohio Northern moved the ball well right down the field, and that's just what the Mount Union Purple Raiders are doing here in the second half. They're taking the ball and moving it down the field, and then the defense is coming up with big stops.
Another short kick, another good return. I believe it was by number 13 again.
Might have been 19 Scarber.
19, Scarber, that's correct. And he's, again, had some nice kickoff returns around in the first half. We saw at least 2 of probably 30-plus yards. This one maybe just under 30, but he has done a nice job returning kicks.
Right, he's a 5'7", 150-pound freshman from Northville, Michigan.
The offensive unit back on the field for the Polar Bears, and just around 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Williams is upended for a short gain. They'll bring up 2nd and long, and see if that Ohio Northern offense can get back into some sort of rhythm.
Looks like Mount Union made some good
adjustments
at halftime.
Polar Bears, their first home game of this 2016 campaign, and Williams working hard again. That just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Polar Bears opened the season with 3 games on the road. First game was actually out of state, Utica, New York. And then they went to, I believe, Heidelberg and then Otterbein. And then last season ended with 2 games on the road as well. So that's, I think, the longest stretch away, or most games played away since like the early 1940s. So happy to be home, but we knew coming in it would be a difficult task against a very good Mount Union team ranked number 1 in the nation. And there's finally some good positive plays on offense. Logan Ray, the reception.
Yeah, a crossing pattern there by Ray, and wide open. The Purple Raider defense dropped too deep in their coverage to cover the wide receivers, and Ray came underneath.
Northern down by a lot, but boy, you need something like that just to make it happen. And seeing what happens then, you want to keep working on offense, and
that's what worked so well in the first half are the passing on first down.
Mm-hmm.
And now it seems like it's turned around. Where ONU's running the ball a lot on first downs right now and getting nothing up the middle.
How Northern mentioned the stat with the time of possession. They've heavily dominated that time of possession in the first half. They're one of the league leaders in the OAC with time of possession. And Williams again. So now we're getting kind of into some nice chunks again, moving the chains. Ohio Northern's going back to that time of possession stat. Third in the OAC with time of possession, which is just over 32 minutes. Now, again, they may dominate that, but when you have a penalty or a fumble in the end zone and an interception return, you don't let the other team have the possession. Those are things that kind of muddy that stat as far as dominating performance on the scoreboard.
There's a quick pass on the outside. They've got a lot of mileage out of that same play. They run it to the left, they run it to the right, and usually pick up 5, 6, 7 yards.
Chad Rex got 8 right there. 2nd and 2 for the Polar Bears. Williams, first down carry inside the red zone. So that dangerous spot on the field for the Polar Bears. First half, 0 for 3 inside the red zone. They'll look to make it 1 for 4 in this drive.
Yeah, and that outside, that quick out pass set up that run that time up the middle.
Freed being pressured.
Oh.
Lofts it up, open receiver. It looks like Chad Rex, number 7.
Wow.
He was open. The ball hung up in the air a while, but Rex able to go vertical. And at the 5:42 mark, the Polar Bears score 6 points.
What a catch.
Freed to Rex.
The ball seemed to be up in the air forever.
Yeah, when he threw it, I thought it saw the receiver, and you just almost like get down, and then jumping for it was Chad Rex, making a great catch.
Definitely wanted it more than the defender did at that point. Both had an equal chance at it.
PAT is good. Rex, his 3rd touchdown receiving catch of the season. That makes the score 35-14 with 5:42 to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll take a break and come back with more football on NKTelco Sports.
When you choose Radio Hospital for your wireless needs, you get 13 convenient locations, no waiting and long lines, premier service after the sale, and all the latest technology with locations in Lima, Findlay, Minster, Kenton, Defiance, Napoleon, Wauseon, Bryan, and Archbold. We are right around the corner from you. Visit us today and experience the Radio Hospital difference. We are simply neighbors serving neighbors, providing a refreshing alternative to high-pressure stores. Radio Hospital is your Verizon Wireless premium retailer.
Back to a 21-point game, but Ron, you look back, and we've talked about it numerous times, the offense is looking good, and if you could have a choice to take away 3 bad plays in the game, the interception return, the fumble in the end zone, but right there is 14 points. You take that away, it's 1 possession game. It just...
Right, and the biggest one was the 100-yard interception return. Not only do you lose a chance to score,
but you give them 7.
So that's a 14-point turnaround there.
And plus, I think twice, Ron, inside the red zone, it was 4th and short.
Right.
And you add in a blocked field goal. So, Ohio Northern,
they've had their opportunities.
Yeah, and sometimes, if you're undermatched and the decided underdog, you can get smoked and not have any opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
They're making their own opportunities, just haven't been able to cash in. But I guess the silver lining is they've been competing and challenging and making it difficult right now for Mount Union.
They've actually played a very good football game to have those opportunities, and unfortunately that's where it went south with the interceptions. And you got to put it all together, and obviously it's not good enough right now, but they sure have moved the ball up and down the field.
B.J. Mitchell. Oh, I thought they got him. They did blow the whistle dead. If not, look out. Number 1's going a long way. And, you know, the defense, you can't blame them too much either. You take off some of those points that were given up with them not even being on the field. They haven't done too bad, really, when you look at what they had to work with, some of the field positions they were put in. They've come up with some nice plays themselves. You know, if Ohio Northern can get a stop here, maybe get the ball back. There's still 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Let that offense get back to work. And that thrown away just to avoid the sack. Mitchell was in the area. That will nullify the intentional grounding. It will stop the clock with 4:56 left. Third down 10 from the 22-yard line of Mount Union, and the crowd kind of getting back into this run. I thought the second half started out kind of dull here at the stadium.
Yeah, if they can stop them here on third down, the crowd will get a little noisier, and maybe that'll get the offense going again.
Well, the offense got it going last possession. Their defense trying to help doing what they can to put the ball back into the hands of the black jerseys.
Well, they had him.
It's going to be very close. Boy, nice play by D'Angelo Fulford. He had one guy to beat to get the first down yards. He made a good enough move to get around the defender. And it's close, and evidently going to measure.
Yeah, if they somehow could have got a hold of his leg there and stopped him from that last 4 or 5 yards.
They'll bring the chains from the far side to the near side. And we have no idea from my angle, Ron, or yours, what it's going to be. So we'll have to wait. It'll either be 1st and 10 or 4th and short.
I couldn't tell where they marked it here on the near side with the ONU players standing there, but it's going to be close. I think they might be a little short.
Fourth down, 1.5 feet.
Yep.
So we'll see once here now. The white jerseys are coming onto the field, so it appears as if they will force the punt. Polar Bear defense getting the job done. ONU, you know, you're playing a good team like Mountain Union at home on your home stadium. Dial Robertson has been good to Ohio Northern. They're 44-17 all time here at Dial Robertson Stadium, including 5-1 last year. They're going to need a heck of a comeback here, but 1.5 to try to fight their way back into this ball game. Just don't jump offside here. Avoid the hard snap count. Penalty by the Polar Bears would give Mountain Union a first down.
This is Mountain Union's 4th punt of the ball game. Punting into the wind.
Line drive. Luckily didn't hit it off a black jersey. Sometimes when those kicks are low like that, the blockers could get in the way not even knowing the ball is coming. And it'll be down at the 31. Ohio Northern will look to score in back-to-back possessions.
He started off there like a rugby kick and kicked it low. He's lucky to get it over the oncoming lineman.
No, definitely stayed down under the breeze. But boy, for Ohio Northern, sometimes those will hit you off the back of the jersey when you can't, because you have no idea when you're blocking downfield what's going on behind you. Freed, number 10, the quarterback, will keep it.
Ooh.
And that ball knocked away. Again, it's
right
2
in the
and 3.
coverage. Yeah, right in the coverage. The safety read that play and came over and actually had a good shot at intercepting that.
Brian Groves, number 2, also, he was the one that probably had the best angle at it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was Colin Crenshaw. And Reed Allen was back there trying to be the receiver. Falls incomplete. Boy, just look at some of these past games between these two teams. Mountain Union has been dominating the Polar Bears.
Freed now has He's up to about 275 yards in passing for the afternoon, 19 of 33.
Talk about the domination the Mount Union has had here. Just some of the past scores, all in favor of Mount Union. 51-7, 62-0, 58-7, 54-0. So right now the Polar Bears much better showing on the scoreboard. As
there was some contact there with the receiver. Maletti, and the defender got tangled up there for a little bit while the ball was in the air. But
3rd and 3, obviously hindsight's 20/20. They went for the big play, which has been successful today. Now you look back and think, boy, it'd be nice just to, maybe something more safe. Doesn't happen. The Polar Bears will attempt a punt. Their last one was blocked back at the end of the second quarter. They fake it. First down.
First down.
Logan Ray.
Nice play there by Kyle Bergman. He's a 6 foot, 175-pound senior from Coldwater, Ohio. Faked the punt, made a nice little pass there, and got the first down.
Nice play by the Polar Bear special teams, and give Kyle Bergman, or the punter Bergman, credit. The snap to him, he had the short hop, and I can't believe that was part of the process. But coming up with a big play, Logan Ray had to do some work on his own once he caught it to get first down yards. He did, and Reed Allen catches it, tiptoes out of bounds for a 6-yard gain.
Now it looks to me like that's where they've had their most success, is the short passes. When they throw it 15, 20 yards downfield, it looks to me like they run a high risk of interception or incomplete.
Aaron Krebs, special teams coordinator. Hats off to him for dialing up that fake punt. Very well executed. The Polar Bears gain the first down and keep the drive moving. Nice block. Boy, that was timed well. Malachi Noletti, I think, had to wait to block until the pass was either thrown or caught, however that works, but the timing was right, and coming away with the catch was Chad Rex.
Yeah, well, that play was forming. It didn't look like it was going anywhere, and he got out of there. The defender got tied up, and away he went.
Pretty sure it was Malachi Noletti with the good block, keying to Chad Rex catch and run. Kristen Williams not much working there, but keeping the defense honest.
He's up to 120 yards.
Maybe 119 now.
Yeah, now 119.
Under 2.5 minutes to go, 2:25 and counting. 21-point deficit, but the Polar Bears are hanging right in there. The score a little deceiving. Polar Bears can get a score on the board here. That would make it much more legitimate, I think, for the feel of the game, taking away some of those miscues the Polar Bears have committed. Give credit, though, to Mount Union for converting on those opportunities. Freed.
He had him there.
He did. He threw a tight spiral, not a lot of air on it, but a tight spiral to Malachi Noletti, goes incomplete. 3rd and 11.
Again, the safety there, I think it's Brian Groves. He read that play and came over. If he could look that safety off, look Groves off a little bit, give him more time over there along the sidelines. But he was open, just a high throw.
Play clock down to 10. Game's clock stopped at 1:59.
Oh.
Another nice play. That one, though, off the hands.
That time the throw was right on target and just dropped it.
Noletti had it go in and out. The Polar Bears will keep their offense on the field, and I'd say try the same thing again. Noletti would have had probably first down yards with what was in front of him. Reed Allen down here on the near side of this field. Freed.
Oh.
That ball through the hands of Rex, and that'll be a turnover on down. So Polar Bears get the fake punt to work to keep the possession alive, but turn it over on the 37 after that pass goes incomplete.
Yeah, that time he had him open again. Nice throw. Just couldn't get the reception. Minute and 55 seconds here left in the third quarter.
Poorman back under center for the Purple Raiders. They've alternated a little bit with Poorman and also Fulford. That time B.J. Mitchell stopped for a 1-yard gain. B.J. Mitchell, the leading ball carrier for the Mount Union Purple Raiders and capable of exploding one at any time for the most part. Somewhat contained here by the Polar Bears.
He's up just around 90 yards for the afternoon.
Poorman keeps it, breaks a tackle, and then will be stopped.
I don't see a whole lot of difference really between the two quarterbacks. You know, they're pretty even statistic-wise and everything. And, you know, we've missed it a couple times when they've switched which one was out there. They look and run almost alike.
Third down 3 from the 44 with 44 seconds left in the third quarter. B.J. Mitchell breaks through for a first down just short of midfield. And that will move the chains. A first down will stop the clock momentarily with 36 seconds to go. The play clock winds. I'm sorry, the game clock winds. We're down under 30. The play clock will be shut off.
Yeah, they're going to run that down to the end of the quarter.
And Mountain Union in no hurry to run another play into the wind, so they will walk over to their sideline as we're at 15 seconds on the game clock as the third quarter will expire. We'll go to the fourth quarter, the final 15 minutes with the Polar Bears trailing 35-14. And the clock has now struck 000, so we'll take a break and come back with more OAC football on NKTelco Sports.
At 21st Century Kitchens, we know that every home has a style to go with it. From first-time homebuyers to families with the pitter-patter of little feet to teenagers taking over the kitchen, 21st Century has what you want, customizing the style, layout, and price point to fit your budget. Kitchens by Craftmade and quality cabinets, countertops by Wilson Art and Cambria, along with availability of granite, marble, and wood.
See what's in store behind the yellow door for your 21st Century Kitchen.
Your parents have given you so much throughout the years. They were there when you won first place. Your first heartbreak. Your first car. Your first wreck. Graduation. Planning that special day. Is it time to give back? Give your mom the life she gave you at Elmwood.
First play of the fourth quarter. Poorman looking down the field, open receiver, knocked away nicely. Pass interference coming up probably against Ohio Northern.
Coverage on the play there by Kristen Randolph. Might have been a little contact there just as the ball was getting to him.
Tough break for the Polar Bears, and that'll be a 15-yard penalty. Ball now on the 35. Coming through, knocking it away, a fumble on the ground.
He picks it up.
Nice job by the Polar Bear defense. Knocking it away was number 32 of Ohio Northern.
And I think it was picked up by Jason Lucas.
So Kyle Rowe with the sack and the strip. And Jason Lucas with the pickup and good return yardage down to the 27.
The 6'1", 210-pound junior.
Take another look out here. Good pursuit by number 32, Kyle Rowe out of Southeastern High School. And then Jason Lucas.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, whatever that was.
He
was doing it all.
You got it. Too bad he couldn't find the end zone. 27 yards away now are the Polar Bears. Rex with the reception. Moving forward for a gain of 7.
All right.
Nice job getting, again, the ball away from that interior front of the defensive line. Letting Rex catch it and kind of maneuver his feet, his way down inside the 20. 2nd and 2.
Yeah, they pick up 8 yards with a short pass. So if they can keep that going and stay out of the 3rd and long, it's going to benefit them greatly.
Had some drops I felt in the last possession across the middle that kind of stalled the drive. Freed looking for his receiver, Noletti, and there's no penalty, so evidently good defense by the Purple Raiders.
Looked like some hand fighting going on down there.
Malachi Noletti, the intended receiver, and he was being defended pretty tightly. 3rd down and 2. Clock stops, 14 minutes, 3 seconds left, final quarter. Here at Dial Roberson Stadium. Freed keeps it. He'll get the 1st down. Still working for more yards. 1st down, Polar Bears on the 11.
I like to see him tuck that football in a little bit. He's carrying it out there with one hand, and that's a little dangerous down there in that territory.
Would have to agree. As I thought it get a little wide as well. The ball's on the 12. They can get a 1st down. Boy, I'd like to see a touchdown here. Make this thing really interesting for the Polar Bears. The defense has been able to get some stops. Williams, nothing in the middle, gets tackled for a loss. Clock continues to run. 13 minutes, 25 seconds left. So loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
54, Nate Jones come up limping there a little bit. A 6', 260-pound junior from Locust Grove, Georgia.
You mentioned out-of-state players. Did you tell me that on air or on the way up? How many players for Mount Union coming from out-of-state, specifically Florida?
Yeah, I counted, I don't know, if 12 or 13 guys from the state of Florida.
Pass intended for Noletti, incomplete. So, yeah, a lot of out-of-state players making the trip up north to Ohio. Of course, again, the program that has won 12 national titles, national championships.
Both quarterbacks are from Florida. One from Cooper City, Florida. That's Fulford. And Poorman is from Orlando, Florida. Home of one of your favorite people.
Oh, no. Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse.
Good one. Pass it in zone. Touchdown. Nice. 13-yard pass and catch.
Oh, nice pass there. Led him just right on target.
Malachi Noletti, the touchdown reception for Noletti, his first receiving touchdown of the season.
So they take advantage of that turnover by the Purple Raiders and take it in for a score.
And I believe for Freed, that would be his 2nd scoring pass today, so that gives him 4 on the season. A big extra point coming up for the Polar Bears. It is good, and we are with
got a
2
ball
touchdowns, 12 minutes, 47 seconds left. The Polar Bears have answered a score of their own. We'll be back with more football on NKTelco Sports.
Schwiedemann Pharmacies began serving the people of Auglaize County in 1916 when Urban Schwiedemann purchased the building and business from J.H. Hoffman. The New Bremen location is one of the longest-running pharmacies in the country, with over 110 years of serving its patrons. Since then, 4 more stores have been added: Coldwater, St. Mary's, Minster, and Wapakoneta to round out the group. Our services include prescription refills, home medical equipment, nursing home services, customized compounded medication, vaccinations, and so much more.
Welcome back. We'll take another look at the last scoring pass. Freed to Noletti. And the Polar Bears, as you mentioned, nice throwing ball, Ron, have crept back into this ball game.
Yeah, there was a case where the ball's on target, and Noletti does a nice job there hauling that ball in right across the end line.
35-21, and the underdogs are making the number 1 team in the nation work here at Ada, Ohio. I kind of like the feeling yet. I mean, still a long way to go as far as what the Polar Bears need to do to score, but their offense is just, we've seen them move up and down the field so well. It's just been the mistakes at bad times or just crucial results of those mistakes have really hammered this Polar Bear offense. Their defense will have a heck of a chance here to get a stop and create some and keep the momentum. Short kick fielded nicely by number 24, and he's able to muscle it out even closer to the 40.
Yeah. While we have a little bit of time here, we need to congratulate senior Scott Rapps and sophomore Joe French as they earned OAC Player of the Week honors for their play last week.
Yeah, I believe French was kicking the ball, or he was the field goal kicker and such, and Rapps had 2 fumble recoveries, 1 for a touchdown, and 1 basically sealed the game late when he not only sacked the quarterback, stripped the ball away, and I believe fell on it himself to seal the victory for the Polar Bears, their first of the season. And
Rapps was the defensive player of the week, and French was the special teams player of the week.
Well, that's a good play on first down for the defense.
And
B.J. Mitchell nowhere on that play.
That was the second time this year that they received those honors. So congratulations to those 2 guys.
If they could pull the upset here, they might have a couple other ones hitting a newsstand on Monday. Pressure coming from the Polar Bears, picked up nicely by Mountain Union, and they secure the pass and catch.
Very well covered and stopped him as soon as he caught the ball.
But a big, nice positive gain for Jordan Hargrove. That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
They need to stop here for the Polar Bears.
Get real interesting here. If the defense can get the stop, they're going to have a chance.
Oh, just made it, I think.
Tim Kennedy, he didn't need much and got just enough. So the defense, though, going to have to stay on the field. Clock moving, 11:40. A score basically of any type here by Mountain Union would really put it a difficult chance for the Polar Bears to make the comeback. Hargrove again with the catch, tried to get some extra yards and maybe lost a couple as he went backwards on his own, so that forward progress he had, Ron, was negated when he made that kind of the loop cut or the...
Right. Earlier in the game, he had a touchdown off one where similar play to that. He broke tackle and went the distance.
B.J. Mitchell in for a first down carry, or getting a first down on that carry. Gain of 7. Ball to the 40 or 39, 41-yard line.
He has a knack of getting some yards up the middle for, 5'6". 175 pounds is put together for 5'6", but he still gains a lot of yards up the middle for being that short.
Well, he keeps his balance, and he rumbles down from the 41 all the way down inside the 20 to the 19.
And we already know what happens when Mount Union gets inside the 20.
They've been very good at scoring touchdowns. This is probably one of the few times that Mount Union has actually slowed down a bit as a clock now near 10 seconds on the play clock. Mitchell's been hard to come down or bring down lately. He gets another 3-yard pickup. Ball down to the 15. Under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 35-21 in favor of Mount Union. The defense forced a fumble their last time out on the field. A fumble or an interception, any type of turnover now would be super if the defense can come up with that style of play. Get the offense back onto the field and try to cut into this lead. Number 6, that's J-E-M. Jawanza. Takes me so long to say his name, I can't even get it out. So Jawanza Evans Morris.
J-E-M.
I like it.
Yeah, that'll work.
3rd down 4. As Jawanza Evans Morris stays in the backfield. He wears number 6. B.J. Mitchell wears number 1. And he is on the sideline. Poorman under pressure. And he's going to get sacked.
Smergy came in. A player from Wapakoneta, Ohio.
One of the permanent captains on this year's squad. Jack Smergy, number 22.
A 6'1", 245-pound junior.
4th down, a field goal attempt. 35-yard attempt. Ball will be spotted right on the 25. Plenty of leg, and it is good. Much needed points there by the Purple Raiders. They go on top now, 38-21 with 8:17 left. We'll take a break and come back with more OAC football on NKTelco Sports.
If you want to save 70% on your heating, cooling, and hot water costs, the answer is right under your feet. Let New Knoxville Supply install a water furnace geothermal system and use the natural temperature from the earth for a more constant temperature in your home. Also ask about our new Symphony Home Management System. Control temperatures, track energy usage, and receive safety alerts for everything, including your sump pump. All from anywhere, anytime. Now is the time to calculate your savings at newknoxvillesupply.com.
5-yard field goal may I don't want to say make it very difficult. It was big points for the Purple Raiders as they now grow the lead 38-21 with just 8 minutes, 17 seconds left. And the defense, Ron, got a stop. They actually got a sack, but the field goal came up big for the Purple Raiders.
All right, and that was his 4th field goal of the season. He's now 4 out of 6.
Alex Lothan, the field goal kicker.
5'10", 175-pound junior from Loganville, Georgia.
Also the kickoff person for them as well. Another good run back. By Jamison Scarber.
Yeah, he's had a really nice afternoon returning kickoffs.
Yeah, he didn't have many kickoff returns coming in, just 2. But given Reed Allen the break, Reed Allen's back as a receiver, spends a lot of time out on the regular offense. Boy, if Scarber can give him a break and perform like he's been doing today, that's an easy switch.
He might find some more playing time the way he's performed today.
Anytime you can get positive yards on a kickoff, that'll catch people's attention. So as we approach the 8-minute mark, the Polar Bears, they go to hurry up all the time in my mind. It's an up-tempo offense. But boy, a field goal really is going to make their comeback chances very difficult.
Yeah, they're going to need some quick scores and maybe a turnover or 2 from Mount Union.
One-handed catch.
Oh, wow.
Not a lot of yards, but it was a heck of a catch by number 4, Malachi Noletti. There's a lot of guys putting up some offensive numbers today, and
He just stretched out one hand and hauled that thing right into his chest.
The kick is, or the catch right now is a great catch. He gained 8 yards, but the clock continuing to move. Just unfortunate that they're down 38-21. Williams will get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Will bring up 4th and 6. One of the few times where they got Williams outside, Ron, and where he wasn't able to get positive yards.
Right. They read that play right and got there before he could even make a move after he caught the ball.
Unfortunately, the offense will stall. They will put out the punt team. Haven't had a lot of punts today, which speaks of how the offense has performed for the most part.
Right. Bergman averages 37 yards a punt.
Last time Bergman turned into a quarterback.
Whoa, another high snap.
This time he punts it away into the wind. Takes a Mount Union hop, and fortunately for the Purple Raiders, they recovered. A gutsy play by number 14, Tim Kennedy, coming up. Obviously didn't want the ball to skip by him and lose field position, but boy, at this time of the game, let the ball bounce if you're Mount Union. It's not going to hurt you where you start at.
Yeah, the clock still runs while the ball's rolling and everything, and boy, that came close to being the turnover that Ohio Northern needs.
Yes, exactly. Ohio Northern's created one turnover, if I'm right on that, or at least that one was recently where they sacked and picked up the fumble. Need something here. Fulford back in for Mount Union, and Kennedy, the catch, and down the right side he goes. Boy, Mount Union even being up 38-21.
Kennedy's had a nice afternoon.
He has. We've called his name a lot.
I think that's his 10th reception of the game for about 73 yards.
Well, that's what I thought. A lot of these names, he had 11 catches coming in. He's going to double his season total. And even when you look at Ohio Northern, some of these stats, I know we've only played 3 games, but some of these guys are going to go well over what they've done for the first 3 games of the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, they really haven't. They probably haven't had to pass the ball that much. They scored 45-10, 56-0, 49-7. So they haven't been in a whole lot of passing situations there. Just run the ball, and you got a guy that averages 175 yards a game.
Why not?
In Mitchell, so that's the way you win.
In those blowout games, obviously other support players are probably maybe getting some possessions themselves, so you're not on the field as much as you are today, where right now Mount Union's having to work for what they're doing. Again, you take away a couple of those touchdowns that Northern kind of gave them.
This is the first game that they've really been tested, so to speak. And, we said it before, but, on paper, you would think Ohio Northern would be right there, right even, or maybe even ahead. And that hasn't been the case because of the turnovers.
3rd down 9 from the 44. We're under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, 4:40 and counting. This is going to be a loss if they can get Jawanza Evans-Morris down. He actually turns into a positive gain of about 2, Ron. But, boy, they had him back there to possibly get a loss of yards.
Yeah, he's playing a different game out there. It's almost like the game of keep away or something, and he's the only one handling the ball.
Mount Union will take their time here in 4th down. And Ohio Northern will let the clock run as we hit the 4-minute mark right now. Still 15 seconds left on the play clock. And Vince Karras, the head coach for Mount Union, will send out his punt team. Play clock down to 5, and they may be willing to even take a delay of game penalty as there is a 0 on the play clock, delay of game. So the penalty will move it back 5 yards. 3:42 left in the contest. Adam Snyder back now to punt for the Purple Raiders.
He's from a town we don't like to talk about either.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Earlier today, we had to talk about somebody from Pittsburgh. Another low line drive kick. Polar Bears need to get out of the way, and it will take a nice hop down to the 5-yard line. And nice job by Adam Snyder pinning the Polar Bears deep in their own territory with just 3:32 left. The Polar Bears
have their work cut out for them now. 95 yards away, and you're down by 17, and you're going against the wind.
Yeah, the victory probably is not a realistic goal or vision right now, but you still want to go out and try to move the ball, put some points on the board, whatever you can do to gain some exposure, some experience against the number one team in the nation is all added benefits. The Polar Bears next game will be at Capital next week, so they're on the road for 5, home for 1, and going to go right back to Capital next week before they come back against John Carroll and Muskingum, both at home then after that.
Yeah, the schedule maker didn't do Ohio Northern any favors. First 3 games on the road. 4 of their first 5 are on the road.
And the flip side is 5 of the next 7 are at home. Again, some of those road games that we speak about were carryovers from last season, which included a playoff game.
Yeah. I would think you'd want it the other way around, where you start the season at home and then move on to the road and get everything settled. You got some young guys in there and get their feet on the ground and before you hit the road.
Ball on the 26, 2 minutes, 45 seconds left. Freed looking for his receiver, number 7. Overthrown. They'll stop the clock as Rex was in the area but couldn't come down. Ball well over his head. 38-21. The score right now, Mount Union will, again, probably had their biggest test of the season so far, just looking at some of the scores. 45-10 over North Carolina Wesleyan, 56-0 against Marietta, 49-7 at Baldwin Wallace. As Williams gets a carry of 7 today, 38-21. But again, we've mentioned numerous times how the offense did a nice job. The defense, even at times too. I mean, they put some stops up against Mountain Union, and usually wrong teams that are number 1 in the nation don't do it by accident. When they've had to, they've put some drives together to kind of take the momentum out of the Polar Bears, and Polar Bears have did a nice job coming back, but just too much Purple Raiders today.
Hey, Mount Union, they allow just 5.7 points a game, and Ohio Northern has put up 21, and like we said, they had the ball inside the 20 3 times.
Yes.
And came up with nothing. So, you look at that, pretty good job there by Ohio Northern. Ohio Northern, they give up 29 points a game, so 38 to a team like Mount Union. That's nothing to hang your head about.
Minute 50 to go.
Mount Union averages 50 points a game. Ohio Northern averages 20, so Ohio Northern's right at their average against a very good defensive team.
Like I said, the Polar Bears' next game will be at John Carroll. John Carroll came into this Saturday 2-0 in OAC competition. They were playing at Wilmington today, who's 0-2. So you got to think maybe that John Carroll possibly could be coming in with a 3-0 mark in league play, and that's where Ohio Northern will travel to next week. So they will have their work cut out. I'm sorry, they play at Capital. Got my numbers wrong here. They play at Capital next week, who is 2-0. And Capital this week is at Otterbein. So some probably not many, quote, easy games for the Polar Bears, but Got to think the next few were more winnable than maybe facing the number 1 team in the nation. So 4th and long comes up empty, and Polar Bears will go off the field on offense, and the Purple Raiders back on the field for offense as we will finish up the final minute. 17 seconds left here in Ada.
You would expect the
kneel down formation is
the victory formation.
Let Ron right now go through some of our sponsors.
21st Century Kitchens, Elmwood Assisted Living, Sweeterman's Pharmacy, New Knoxville Supply, Keyhole Pizza, Minster Bank, Minster Dental, NKTelco, Francis Furniture, St. Mary's Trucking, Cy Sweeterman, West Staff, Radio, Hospital, Scoreboard sponsors, First National Bank, Think First. And the keys to the game were brought to you by Bud's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Salina, where the dealer makes the difference. And we'd like to thank all those sponsors for the bringing you today's football game.
Very much so, and we hope that you enjoyed this telecast. Our first Ohio Northern football game of the season. As again, their first home game this season. Tough competitor from Alliance, Ohio has come to Ada and withstood a good game plan, a good Ohio Northern football team this afternoon, and will leave today unblemished on the season. They will go to 4-0 overall, 3-0 in the OAC. Ohio Northern will dip to 1-2 in the OAC and 1-3 overall as teams will begin to shake hands. We will take a quick break and come back and wrap things up here from Ohio Northern on NKTelco Sports.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
At Minster Bank, we understand that life can get hectic. That's why when it comes to your banking, we offer the services that make your life simpler with tools like person-to-person payments, Pop Money, mobile and online banking, and bill pay. But most of all, Minster Bank is a supportive member of your community with personal relationships and customer service that reach outside of our branches. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
Welcome back. Ada, Ohio, the final score 38-21 in favor of Mountain Union. A good, interesting ball game today, Ron. We saw a lot of action, a lot of offense, some big plays, some defensive stops, some special teams action. All in all, a good ball game. Mountain Union, though, just enough positive plays, didn't make as many mistakes, and basically converted when they had the ball inside the red zone.
That's right. Ohio Northern, give them credit. They played hard. I thought they moved the ball well. They obviously had a little trouble with the red zone and the interceptions, but other than that, I thought the game plan was a good one by Ohio Northern. They didn't come out and try to run the ball up the middle against a team that gives up 35 yards a game. They came out with the short passes and moved the football, and I was impressed with Ohio Northern. I mean, right into the game until the last 5 minutes probably when the field goal put it out of range.
Yeah, that was probably the final blow, the 35-yard field goal to make it 38-21. And again, you hate to lose, but you got to be somewhat positive with some of the things you saw. And you talked about you take away about 3 plays. If you could just redo those snaps, which you can't, it could be a whole different ball game here. But nonetheless, Mountain Union beats Ohio Northern today, 38-21. We'd like to thank our crew today, which included our camera people down on the field. They were Kurt Kuffner and Anna Linhart. Our main camera upstairs was Wesley Meyer. Our production engineering department this afternoon was Isaac Sell and Tyler Wolf. And for my partner, Ron Cruzy, I'm Jeff Henson. We hope that you enjoyed this telecast today. Again, your final score, 38-21 in favor of Mount Union. Thanks for watching.